Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Let's just jump right into something I know we're all feeling right now. We are right in the middle of a massive meaning crisis. Seriously, look around. You've got skyrocketing anxiety, everyone's feeling lonely, and there's this huge boom in people taking purpose-finding retreats. It's like we all silently agree that something huge is just missing from our day-to-day lives, you know? People are finally being honest about feeling totally lost. But how did we actually get here? To figure that out, we really have to ask ourselves, why on earth does it feel like we expect our jobs to be our entire lives? I mean, think about the immense pressure we put on our careers today, not to mention our romantic partners. We expect our workplace to not just pay the rent, but to give us our core purpose, our social circle, our entire community, and oh yeah, align perfectly with our personal politics. And we do the exact same thing to our partners. We demand they be our absolute rock, our best friend, our lover, our therapist, literally everything. It's what you might call an incredibly poorly hedged market. Just a century ago, our lives were built on diverse pillars of community. You got your purpose from church, you hung out with friends at the bowling league, you actually talked to your neighbors. Work was just where you went to make a living. But as those older pillars just kind of crumbled away, we took all that heavy lifting and dropped it squarely onto just two modern pillars: our jobs and our partners. We've basically taken all our emotional life savings and dumped it into just two stocks. And frankly, those stocks were never designed to carry that much weight. Which brings us to part one, taking accountability and figuring out how we find that lost meaning. So how do we actually find it? Well, strangely enough, purpose often shows up right after trauma. It's wild, but when you talk to people who have really genuinely learned from a dark place, they almost always say some variation of this. Man, I hope I never go through anything like that again, but I'm glad it happened. They are secretly grateful for the catastrophe. But here's the catch. That magic trick, turning intense pain into actual purpose, only happens if they take full responsibility for how they reacted to it. This really boils down to the massive difference between victimhood and accountability. Victimhood is totally passive, right? It's that feeling of, things are just done to me. And look, bad luck absolutely happens, but you cannot mix your logics here. You can't be like the Wall Street banker who claims he's an absolute genius when he makes millions, but then blames market conditions when he loses it all. You can't blame bad luck for your failures and claim all the credit for your successes. Finding meaning means active accountability. You might not control the circumstances, but you absolutely 100% control how you respond. Okay, let's move into part two, sitting in the mud, and how we handle crises. When someone we love hits rock bottom, our first instinct is usually, well, completely wrong. We have this very Western, toxic default to just spring into action and give unsolicited advice. Instead, we have to learn this art of sitting in the mud. This just means being totally present with someone's pain without trying to fix it right away. Imagine your buddy gets unexpectedly fired from a job they've had for years. Well-meaning friends rush in, "Hey, just update your resume. Success is the best revenge." No, that is not what they need right then. They need someone to sit in the mud with them and say, wow, that really, really sucks. You have to validate the pain before you even think about action. And there's actual biology behind why that unsolicited advice completely backfires. It's a clash between our neocortex, the rational, fact-processing brain, and our limbic system, which is our emotional mammalian brain. And guess what? The limbic system doesn't speak English. It has no capacity for language. When someone is highly emotional, that limbic system is totally driving the car. So throwing logical facts at them, like telling a crying toddler you can just buy more spilled milk, or telling an adrenaline-hyped actor they actually did terrible after a play, it totally bombs. You have to meet emotion with emotion first. Save the facts and the resume tips for a few days later when their neocortex is finally back in the driver's seat. All right, on to part three, redefining friendship, or basically, learning to be human. So navigating all this stuff requires some serious social skills. And the funny thing is, we humans actually kind of suck at being human without practice. I mean, cats are naturally great at being cats, but we have to actively learn how to do our thing. Which brings us to a major reevaluation of what friendship even is. Forget just hanging out. Friendship is really when two people agree to grow together. True relationships aren't just about playing video games or having a laugh. They require mutual accountability, meaning both of you commit to taking yourselves on, helping each other out, and actually emerging as better versions of yourselves. But that brings up an even tougher question, doesn't it? Are you a good friend to yourself? Seriously, ask yourself right now, would you buy yourself a beer? If you're constantly breaking promises to yourself or you care way more about what others think than what you think, you are being an untrustworthy ally to yourself. Being a good friend to yourself means putting down the relentless self-criticism and actually giving yourself some grace to just feel your feelings without judging them. Let's look at part 4, shared actualization, and playing the infinite game. Once we've built up that internal grace, we can finally stop obsessing over this endless individual grind of crushing a Tuesday and look outward. Think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We've all seen the pyramid, right? Food and shelter at the bottom, moving all the way up to self-actualization at the peak. But Maslow actually made a huge, fatal flaw here. He treated humans strictly as isolated individuals. Sure, if you're alone on a desert island, food and shelter are your only priority. But we aren't just individuals. Literally every single day we exist as members of a group. So what if we scratch that and replace self-actualization with shared actualization? Think about it. People don't usually fall into ultimate despair because they're hungry. They do it because they are profoundly, intensely lonely. That alone proves that belonging to a community and having deep relationships is fundamentally more important to our survival than hitting some individual peak performance metric. We really need to stop over-indexing on this rugged individualism and start aiming for shared actualization. This actually brings us to the biology of how we chase these things, because we constantly confuse goals with purpose. Goals give us dopamine. It's a finite game. It's totally the caveman hunting an apple tree. You get that quick hit of excitement when you grab the apple, but the high fades super fast and you're right back to hunting for the next hit. Purpose, though, purpose runs on oxytocin and serotonin. It's infinite. Building real relationships and finding purpose is honestly a lot like brushing your teeth. Brushing really intensely one time does absolutely nothing, but that unglamorous daily consistency of doing it every single day, that is what builds the foundation. So what do you do if you're sitting there feeling completely stuck, paralyzed by fear, and just totally lacking meaning? The answer is definitely not reading another self-help book. The real answer lies in asking yourself, who are you going to help today? Find someone who is struggling with the exact same issue you have and just commit to helping him through it. By making a safe space for someone else to say, me too, you actually break yourself out of your own isolation. It turns out friendship and shared service isn't just some nice-to-have bonus. It is quite literally the ultimate biohack for meaningful life. So the only question left is, who will you sit in the mud with today? Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, keep connecting, and I'll catch you next time.